Hello, family, and welcome to another episode of Epic Understanding. I am so honored to have Tiffney Laing here today, the creator, the founder of Bevy and Dave. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, so let's just get right out of the gate. Tell us about Bevy and Dave.
Well, Bevy and Dave, we were founded in 2015, but I had launched in 2016. We're an educational toy company focusing on changing the narrative of Black history by building leaders through Black history. So all of our toys are teaching children not only about how to lead themselves, right? But they're learning it through the experiences found in Black history, which I think is remarkable and fascinating. How people who went through so many different challenges through overwhelming oppression, and they still contributed their best to society. And so those stories to me are so inspiring. I know that they will inspire children to be their best selves, regardless of what's happening in their life.
I think that's absolutely fascinating. I am excited about your work that you are doing. I am in awe of it, and I'm actually very thankful for it. What inspired you to create this company?
Thank you. So I noticed that obviously the classrooms, right? They were lacking
Mhm.
the tools. The teachers were lacking the tools.
Yeah.
They kept teaching the same thing that's been taught, literally for years. And it just hadn't changed. We hear about the same historic figures, but nothing that really celebrates our achievement and contributions to the nation and the world beyond oppression,
Mhm.
slavery, and the civil rights movement. And so I thought that it would be good, right, to give children and parents and educators tools, the opportunity to learn in a very fun way, to make learning history inviting,
Uh-huh.
joyful,
Yes.
and where everyone can appreciate what has been done, but learn from it. And so, of course, I noticed like the toy aisles were empty, but my main focus was the classroom because
Okay.
I understood that a lot of parents relied on the classroom. Children spend a lot of time at school. And so that's where the magic happens, as well as obviously at home. We need the parents to do the educating at home,
Okay.
but also the school. So that inspired me. And my daughter, having her was a blessing because by the time she was born, I was on the path and understanding where I was supposed to go. And having her, I realized, okay, ding dong, children learn through play. This is the way to do it. This is how they're going to get it.
That is awesome. Do you happen to have anything to show us?
I do. So the very first product that I came out with is the History Makers Puzzle Black Set. Okay, this was the very first one launched in 2016. And what makes it so special is because I created it where people could get the full view, so to speak, of what I was trying to accomplish. So we know that children learn at the youngest age, right?
Uh-huh.
But I wanted to create a toy that grew with the child. So from the age of 3 to the age of 7 or 8, they can still play with it and learn. So, for example, A is not for Apple with these History Makers blocks, right? A is for appreciation. So you got A, right? And then you have appreciation. And then they'll learn, right, that it means to be thankful and to express their gratitude every day. When we talk about the history and understanding history, when they pick up the letter W. When they pick up the letter W, they'll associate that with Maggie Walker, right? And then they will learn that she is the first female bank president in the United States. And I'll show you one more block, service, right? So when they learn about service, I don't know if you can actually see that. Sorry. Can you see that? Service.
Yeah, I can see
What?
it.
Okay, when they learn the word service, right, they're associating that with the letter S, but then they're going to learn that, to be helpful, right, is to be of service. So the point is that to get children to start associating, right, their alphabet with words and historic figures that are meaningful. So they're going to be learning about self-leadership strategies. and how to be amazing contributors, right? And something as simple as service and being appreciative, that's part of that. That is what we do as into into we're 90, 100 years old, right? That's part of the makeup of what makes a human being great. And in addition to that, there's puzzles that children can put together. So there's 3 sides of different puzzles that children can play with this. Black said it, I took it out so you can see it that way. And
Oh, I love it. Hold that up to the camera just a little. Oh, that's really nice. I love it.
thank you. And then last but not least, it comes with a booklet where children are able to do additional learning as they get older to really learn more about the historic figures inside the on side the
Oh,
puzzle.
that is
And
so neat.
thank you so much. And for parents who are trying to get children to learn self-leadership strategies right away, I also made sure that we had something here that parents can immediately implement right away. And then I'll show you a couple of more. We have the Inventor's Legacy series. This is one of my favorites. And
Uh-huh.
the reason why, you can see that, the reason why the Inventor's Legacy series is probably my favorite is
Okay.
because, well, they're all my favorite, but in regards to how people can relate on a daily basis. When a
Okay.
child is and a parent are going down the street, when they stop at that 3-way traffic signal, they're
Uh-huh.
going to be learning who invented it. Okay. They're
Yeah.
going to learn that Garrett Morgan is the inventor. When they are going to the grocery store, when they're eating at the restaurants, they're
Yeah.
going to be learning how that industry, right,
Mhm.
is even here because of mobile refrigeration.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And mobile refrigeration, right, was created by an inventor who was around during a time where it was very difficult to get patents. I don't know if you can see him. Can you see him?
Let's okay.
Frederick Jones?
Oh, I see it. That is
Yeah.
awesome. I really love that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, really, like this particular puzzle allows people to be able to relate on a daily basis because everything we do, this one, when I created it, I made it into everything I make is into a story. But the story is how creativity shapes our lives and how, things that we do on a daily basis that we may take for granted has been invented by these remarkable people that
Mhm.
unfortunately have been kind of left out of the history textbooks that we learn in the classroom. And so through Bevy and Dave educational toys, this is where they're able to learn about it. And Granville Woods, a lot of people don't really know much about him, but let me tell you something.
Okay.
When we are on the train,
Uh-huh.
people take for granted their safety. But let me tell you, before he invented, okay, telegraphy, messaging, it was a system where trains would get into accidents on a regular. It was
Uh-huh.
normal. It was actually normal. People would get into
Wow.
accidents and didn't even, think twice about it because there was no way to message um, to other trains on where they were on the track.
Okay.
Okay, so he created railway telegraphy, and that helped where they were able to now message across the stations and to other trains to say, okay, this is where we are on the track, and that prevented accidents. So these are things that we see on a daily basis, but don't know who was a part of what made that all happen.
Now wait, I'm going to have you repeat yourself because I don't know that bit of history. Who
Really?
did that? Who is this?
I'll show you his face. Granville Woods. Let me see if I can. You see him? Wait, do you see my
Okay.
finger?
Okay, yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So he
Granville Woods.
uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. And on the back of my puzzles, just so you know, I always make sure that you can obviously see the story behind it,
Uh-huh.
right? We have the
Yeah.
story of how it shaped America. We have the
Okay.
story of when it was invented. We also include, obviously, the bibliography of where we get the information from. I use about 6, 7 to 9 sources most of the time for
Okay.
each of these, any type of history that I put out there. I make sure everything is very accurate because obviously we are educating. So,
Absolutely, yes. So I am glad that you are, checking your sources and verifying everything. That is fantastic. One day I think you're going to be in the history books.
I don't know, but I'm very grateful to do this work.
Well, that is fabulous. That is fabulous. Now, let's get to the business portion of making this dream, this vision of yours, you know, come true, making it tangible so that I can be excited and touch your toys.
Oh, thank you. Um, so the business side. So what make this possible? That's what you're asking, right?
Yes, like what was your first step? What did you do out of the gate to bring this to fruition? Because one, this was all in your head. This was an idea. As a matter of fact, it was in your heart. So it
My heart. It was in my heart, and I knew that it was something I needed to do. I felt
Mhm.
very strongly about it. I was actually in a doctorate program, by the way,
Okay.
and I left the doctorate program because I knew that I needed to focus on solutions. My research was focused on how children learn to understand Black history and
Okay.
how that affected their level of achievement. So I wanted to focus on solutions. This came about, but I had to do a lot of research. Clearly, my background is in higher education. I did not know much about the toy industry besides just being someone who would purchase toys. But I have to say that when you want something bad enough,
Mhm.
when you know that something is important, you do what you got to do. So
Okay.
the trade, I went to a trade show that helped me.
Mhm.
One of my best friend actually, she helped me. We went into a trade show, and I met manufacturers there. I met product safety test organizations there, um, and the rest is history. But I have to say that it took a while to do the research because I was trying to figure out, well, how do I where do I start?
Mhm. Exactly, because you said you went to a trade show. How did you find about the trade show, and which trade show did you go to?
Mhm.
There's a lot to unpack to even get started. You know, it's almost like where is the start line?
Exactly. That's how I felt. But I will say, because I have such a busy life, at the time I was working in higher education. So I got up at 3 a.m. in the morning while my husband and daughter was sleeping. And that's where I did most of my research. And I was so excited. I had so much energy every day because this was work I knew I was meant to do. So it
Mm,
just really began with first Googling.
okay.
And then, of course, I went to the Library of Congress and I did a lot of research there,
Hmm.
which was really fun and exciting because I love beautiful environments. And of course, the Library of Congress is historic. So that was
Right.
enjoyable. Um, but I ran across really just Googling and then talking to one of my closest friends. And she helped me to attend this trade show in New York, the toy fair in New
Okay.
York. And I went there, and that was a blessing because before I went there, I actually found another manufacturer who I got a sample from, but the sample was not up to my quality standards. And I knew I
Okay.
needed to change
Mm,
manufacturers. And then that's when my friend invited me to the toy fair in New York, where I got in there and I was able to meet really incredible business people, manufacturer representatives, public, I'm sorry, pr- consumer product safety test organizations, and other toy organizations. But the biggest thing out of that experience was getting the manufacturing contest, because the manufacturing, it has to be right.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It has to be right. And that's how I really got my start. It took me a while to trust companies
Okay.
because, you know, you everything costs. Nothing is
Uh-huh.
free. And so you're hoping that what you get is going to be of your standards. And sometimes you're not able to get reimbursed. Sometimes, there's just so much that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to use your gut as well as your intellect when doing business. So if someone is trying to start a toy company, I'm not, I know you didn't ask that question yet. So I'll wait till you ask it, I guess.
No, no, continue,
Okay.
please.
If someone wants to start a toy business, I would say that keep in mind, or any business, toy business specifically is very expensive.
Okay.
It's an expensive industry to be in, because not only you got regular business insurance, but you have to have product insurance, and you have to test all of your products before they can even be put on the market. Okay. And then there's a bunch of other things that go into it. So it's expensive, shipping
Uh-huh.
is expensive. So it's
So,
just a really expensive
so when you
industry.
say expensive, are we saying first house expensive or car expensive? How much are we talking?
Um, let's just say that you want to be prepared when
Okay.
you're getting into this kind of industry, because
Mm-hmm.
there's so much that has to be done before you can even put anything out there. There's a lot of businesses where they don't need to rely on outside sources to
Uh-huh.
start their business,
Okay.
because some people don't have products. They just have maybe their information, their knowledge,
Okay.
right? Maybe they're, maybe so maybe they're a consultant, whatever. You don't have to go through anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when you have a product for children,
Okay.
it's I don't want to talk about cost, but it's you have to be prepared, because when it comes to children, everything has to be tested, and those things cost. And
Mm-hmm.
every time you come out with a new edition, so that means, let's say I sell out and I have to buy more, that has to be tested again. And each
Wow.
time I purchase more, they have to be tested again. And you have to keep product insurance, so that when your products are on the shelves at stores or in anybody's home, that these products are covered. So it's interesting, but I love what I do because it's important to me. And it's an industry that you have to be prepared to get in. And like I said, I didn't know much about the toy industry, but I was going to do it anyway, because I knew this was what I was supposed to do.
Wow. So, what's the ultimate win for you? Would you like to get purchased by a bigger organization, or do you want to grow your product line, um, and become your own, Mattel?
This is a family business, and my hope, honestly, one day is that my daughter would be able to um, take it on. But I want to grow Bevy and Dave. I have really big plans. God has given me a great vision for it.
Mm-hmm.
We have many things that are going to be coming out to diversify the learning experience, right? So children are learning through these puzzles, but we're going to be diversifying the kind of products that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be many different kinds of products where children can learn through play, through in the classroom and at home with their families. Um, but I see Bevy and Dave growing even beyond what I've imagined already.
As you're speaking, I'm imagining the next step up, the next grade level up, after they're toddlers and things of that nature. And now they've moved on to, third and fourth grade, and then middle school. Those products could certainly grow with them.
Yes, without a doubt. So Bevy and Davis, I created it specifically for preschool through elementary, because that is where they are most impressionable, and
Uh,
where they begin to develop who they're going to be. They're
I
learning about
agree.
the world around them. By the time they're in high school, they've already learned. They've already pretty much have already kind of set
Uh-huh.
in their mind. So we got to get them before then. So Bevy and Dave is really focused on preschool through elementary
Mm-hmm.
to grade 5. And if they have this during those years,
Mm-hmm.
they will. I believe Bevy and Dave will accomplish its mission. That those children will believe in themselves. That they will know that they're capable. That they will do great things. It will be automatic in their mind and in their soul that they were born to do great things, and that there's nothing they can't do. These educational toys are meant to inspire. They are meant to really touch deeply
Mm-hmm.
in a very creative way. And so my hope is that when parents and educators are using these toys with the children, that they're excited about it too. Because
Well,
children, they are going off of how you feel. If you present it to them with excitement, they're going to be excited. If
I
you go ahead.
no, I absolutely agree with you. And I have this little crazy thought, but maybe not so crazy because your products are about leadership. So in my mind, I have like a planner, like a kid's planner with for Bevy and Dave. That's what, so when I'm thinking growing, when you get to the point and you start want to write down, I have my soccer game on this day and there's a party this day, you're journaling or what have you, and you have your little stickers. That is where I'm, seeing Bevy and Dave. And then with the inspirational quotes there and the affirmations in there. That would be so neat.
Oh my goodness. You are so aligned with me right now. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You are so aligned with me right now. Well, listen, look out for what's happening later on this year. Some of the stuff you mentioned, you might see because our next product line is coming out.
Oh,
Um, and
fantastic.
that's part of diversifying how children learn.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, look out. You are really aligned with me.
That, you know what, I'm just speaking, what's in the heart. I feel like maybe I've made a confirmation. Oh, breaking
You're
news.
good. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah, you're
that is
good.
fantastic. That is fantastic. So, back to a little bit more business advice. What happened on your business journey that really surprised you?
Oh boy, a few things. First, I want to tell anybody, if you're in business, you're going to have so many other business to business, right? Other businesses trying to
Uh-huh.
get your business, right?
Mm,
They're
yes,
coming, they're trying to come to you. They want you to. They always trying to sell you something. I
yes.
can't explain to you how many sales emails, LinkedIn notes, calls I receive all the time. So that can be kind of frustrating because, especially for someone like me, I believe in building relationships. And I like to form relationships first so I can build the trust with those before I do business with. Right. And
Yes.
so that's something that surprised me. I didn't realize how many, like, I didn't know, like, the sharks out there when it comes to, just trying to get
Oh,
your
yes.
business. The other thing I would say surprised me is the good surprises. So I'll say good and bad. The good surprise for me is the amount of love that people give you in regards to the emails, personal emails, and stories they send you when they believe they've been impacted by what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been the good surprise. That's been such a blessing. But a bad surprise would be where, um, you know, you'll get in my business, my products are over 1 pound,
Okay.
right? They weigh more than 1 pound, most of them 2 pounds or whatever. So to ship things to customers, it just really costs way more. So I would say if
Wow.
businesses have to keep in mind those type of things if they're in a product business, because for me, the kind of business person I am, I don't like for things to be too costly.
Mm-hmm.
Bevy and Dave is not about cost. We're about value. We're about what we do. Like, is it quality is what we focus on. But even though I focus on quality, we still want to make sure that we're giving the best value for
Mm-hmm.
the things that we send out. So I would say, like, um, shipping is interesting. You don't have any control over that area. So it's very, very important to think about that, especially if you have customers um, who are sending, some customers send stuff back all the time. Not to me. I
Okay.
haven't had that experience. I'm very, very appreciative about that. But just, people don't realize that that could be happening. that, you know, that part of business can be tough. And then some customers overall may not understand the big picture of what happens behind the scenes. But I would say in business, for anyone aspiring to be a business owner, be very passionate about what you do. Don't just get into it for the sake of having a business or for the sake of trying to own something, because it takes a lot of perseverance, a lot of dedication to do it. And it takes time on your part to constantly learn about your industry.
Yes.
There's a lot of things about every industry to learn and to stay on top of. And I can say that for my industry, I've been pleasantly surprised with how they honor toy creators. In 2018, Bevy and Dave received 2 to 3 awards. We were the finalists for the Toy of the Year award, and we received a Family of Choice award and Creative Play award. And so that was a blessing. And so that was a nice surprise in regards to how the toy industry honors toy creators and inventors, and that's exciting. I've built good relationships with some people in the industry. That's been wonderful. Right now, I have a good relationship with another person who invented the first female action figures, and she's
Oh.
doing a remarkable job in her field. You know, uplifting females, girls. And so that's been great. So I gotta say, I've enjoyed my journey on both sides, not just with the part of my mission, but the other part of just being in the industry and surrounded by positive people. And I would say the last thing this probably didn't surprise me, but maybe it did. So I'll mention it.
Okay.
Um, don't get discouraged. Sometimes when you do things, sometimes people may not always understand what you're doing.
Yes.
Okay. And sometimes people may say things that might be discouraging. Don't get discouraged. So I received it on both ends. One was um when I was interested in a certain retail store, they thought the products that I had were too nichey. That was their words. And I would say that I guess at the time, for me, I didn't feel like it was too nichey. I mean, I know like clearly it's a niche, but for me, everyone benefits.
Right.
And so, but I understood that they're just stuck in their ways
Right.
and don't realize that this is where the world is going. People are interested in creating a new normal where
Yeah.
it's normal to walk into a store and see images of different nationalities, and it'd be normal for a person to pick up an educational toy that don't look like them, just like it should
Absolutely.
be normal to pick up a baby doll that don't look like you. When I was a child, there's not that many dolls that look like me, but it was normal to just get a baby doll that didn't look
Right.
like you. Like it was normal. So we're creating a new normal now. And I think, I wanted to mention that because even though maybe that didn't surprise me, it kind of surprised me because clearly I made the effort to contact them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Tiffany, tell us, where can they find Bevy and Dave?
Bevy and Dave can be found at www.bevyanddave.com. You can also find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Oh my goodness. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you here today, Bevy. I'm calling you Bevy, Tiffany. Oh my god. Now that's your daughter's name, right?
Yeah, her name is Beverly. And so it's Bevy for, obviously for the toy company, it's better when it's short. So Bevy.
Yes. Uh,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome, awesome. That said, it has been marvelous spending time with you. I've learned so much, and I cannot wait to see what's next for Bevy and Dave. Bye
Thank
bye,
you so much.
family. Thank you for watching.